we have with us in the studio Maneesh Garg is the CEO at Nagodo Industries, still talking about the Nigeria Industrial Revolution Plan. Thank you for coming on the program. Good morning.
Thank you, Bolaji.
All right, we do appreciate your time. Yeah, I was speaking with Dr. Umweze earlier just before you came on board, and we were looking at government policies in Nigeria and how that has impacted industrialization of Nigeria's economy, and what it's likely to be the results going forward considering this NIRP. But in your view, what has been the situation like since you've been operating in Nigeria?
Well, thank you, Bolaji. I've been in Nigeria for many years. My family is, my dad came to Nigeria more than 35 years ago. And we've been in a host of businesses, starting with textiles, fast-moving consumer goods. Now we are in trading and distribution of industrial raw materials, logistics, outbound, inbound, and we're getting into healthcare. So we, basically a conglomerate with, so just to give you a perspective on all the various sectors, I think it's no secret that, over the last, 30, 40 years since Nigeria, or 50 years now since Nigeria has been independent, they've been, swings in terms of government policy. We've experienced various types of regimes, import substitution, import licensing, the SAP program, which was in the 80s, then in the 90s, So we've always had, there's been a flavor of the month or flavor of the decade kind of thing. And, whether it's the tariff regimes, they've changed on a frequent basis. But I think the issue with the Nigerian industrialization is no secret. Even the previous speaker said that, and I think, it's very basic. It's what we need is basic infrastructure, which is power. That situation has been the same for the last 20, 25 years. In fact, it deteriorated a lot, but I do see signs of improvement now. Power and basic infrastructure like roads and transportation. It's very tough to industrialize a country if you don't have a basic rail network. How do you transport goods from, most of the agro products are produced in the north. You have to bring them to the south, and then most of the factories are in the south and the east, and then they have to be transported all over the nation. So rail is something which is something which is essential to the building of transportation networks. Telecommunications used to be an issue, but by and large, I mean today with the GSM and all that, that's fairly good. So basically, what is the main challenge is basically infrastructure, and obviously one of the issues is for any economy to develop, and especially industrialization, one of the issues is even safety and security. If somebody had, we used to have an operation in, let's say, in the north, in Maiduguri, but because of the situation in the north, a lot of us are taking a very somber view of the situation. Okay. So, that also affects the level of progress in industries and in the economic activity.
I know that many countries have the challenges with insecurity, but of recent, Nigeria's level of insecurity has been of concern to many, not just in the country, but also outside. But you are operating in the north, I want to believe, in other parts of Nigeria. What has been the situation like for you, looking at the insecurity vis-a-vis your operation of the business that you're running?
Most of our businesses are not in the north. I mean, we are basically well spread out all over Nigeria. Okay. Of course, the north was a very big market. I mean, Kano, and we have a base in Kano, and then we do supply to the northeast and the northwest. I think in terms of business, surprisingly, Bolaji, it's ironical. Initially, 2-3 years ago, when the security situation started deteriorating, there was a lull in the business. The borders were closed and all that. But at the end of the day, people do need to buy daily need products and basic products, whether it's food stuff, whether it's FMCG products. So the activity did pick up. So it was not exactly that it's just been downhill. There was a lull, and I think it's the resilience of the economy that eventually things have picked up a bit.
All right. Okay, your company was actually named as one of the global growth companies at the World Economic Forum. Congratulations on that. In terms of job creation, what has been your experience, and what is your goal at this point?
Well, I think there are two types of job creation, or three types. One is at the semi-skilled and the skilled level. And obviously, the more the industries are growing, and our industries have grown, we've employed more and more people. But by and large, one of the biggest challenges we face as employers, and in some of the sectors, like in the healthcare sector, we face is the level of skills of the people. I mean, we are about to set up a world-class radiology, diagnostic, pathology, oncology, cardiology setup in Ikeja. Yeah, there we need to basically, we are looking at some very good people available here, but also over the period of time, it's a skill shortage. So at the highly skilled level, one of the challenges is that and what we are doing is we're trying to bring a lot of doctors and a lot of medical professionals back from abroad.
Nigerians or expatriates?
We are focusing on bringing in Nigerians coming back to Nigeria.
Okay.
But just to underscore the point, Bolaji, that, at the skill level, it's such a paradox here that, you look at a country of 160, 170 million people, and you see, people, I don't know what the employment or the unemployment rate would be, but maybe it's 30%, maybe it's 50%. So a lot of underemployment in the economy. So you wonder, why do you need to, and then you hear employers talking about skill shortages. So that paradox doesn't make sense. But the challenge is that there are a lot of people available, but unfortunately, the skills which employers require, those skills are not being provided either by the universities or by the, a lot of the people who had those skills have migrated abroad. So the challenge is that in spite of so many people available for jobs in Nigeria, we still have critical skill shortages in certain areas.
So do you buy into this NRIP, this Nigerian Industrial Revolution Plan, going by the fact that we're having challenges with infrastructure, we're looking at the political will of the government to execute this plan? Do you buy into it? Do you see it succeeding?
Well, Laji, I'm an optimistic person, and I think if I wasn't optimistic, I wouldn't have invested in Nigeria and continue to invest in Nigeria over the last 25, 30 years. As far as government plans are concerned, it's very difficult for me. I'm not a political scientist to comment on how they would succeed. But what I do get a sense of is that I think there is a steady progress being made. I think one of the positive things is that there's a very broad realization amongst the government, whether it's the federal level or the state government level, that things need to change, and gradually I do see a semblance of things of getting their act together.